So, hello everybody. It is Christmas. And just as I go live, the tune in the background changes to something I find annoying. Let me just change that. Let me start here. There we go. So, fresh out is the Foundry system, or module I should say, not system, for Flowers of Algorab. Now the box set I've reviewed, I can't actually remember where I put it right now. It's somewhere around here. But yeah, brilliant game. And I was supposed to be playing a few sessions now of Flowers of Algorab. Not Flowers of Algorab, of Coriolis the Great Dark with my German group. But unfortunately one of the players has been unwell, so we haven't been able to play for a little while. Hopefully that resumes in the new year. But in the meantime, I thought I'd have a look at what the Foundry implementation looks like. As I said, if you're interested to see what's in the box set, make sure you look at that video that I recorded, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or so, when I actually got the box set. It looks very tempting and very nicely done, I have to say. More so than my first impression was when the system came out. Yeah? But yeah, I'm test playing it again, so hopefully I'll have a more informed opinion about the system in a bit. So here we go. Anyway, here's the system. This is the Flowers of Algorab module, premium module that I got as part of the Kickstarter. So I did pay for this. There's nothing I'm currently getting free to review at all. So let's have a look. Table of contents. You see this very much replicates the book. You have the expedition booklet in it, and you've got the campaign booklet in it. Hot Publishing have done this again. Yeah, I had a short exchange with Kusa from that team to see what's special in it. But basically, as with the other ones, when you first enable it, you then can import it. And all you get is this one here with the table of contents. So if you want to go further than this, you either have to go into your journals or you have to use this table of content. But you can see what's in it. Yeah, but I typically review things a little bit differently. I typically start with the journals. So hopefully that's big enough. Actually, let me make the interface a bit bigger so you can read more easily at home. There you go. So, what have we got here? We have the Flowers of Algorab. This here, the first entry is what I've just shown you with the table of contents, etc. And then we have the content. Now this is the campaign booklet. It is a bit confusing because it says expedition booklet over the top, but that's the subfolder. The exhibition booklet is the booklet that contains the player knowledge. So it will have the systems in it, for example, here that you might be visiting. What do they know about it already? Because they're not new to the world. And you also get a little bit about the ships here. So you can share these with the players. Don't share everything else, though. That would be a bit spoilery, right? I'll try to keep this relatively spoiler-free today. So you get your introduction, campaign synopsis, which I'm not going to click on playing the campaign. There's a fair bit of content in here, which I'm going to jump over. But it also tells you here the expedition booklet contains information about the systems. It's meant to be used as a player handout that can be consulted. So just so you're aware, yeah? That's where it is. Because initially I couldn't find it. Because I was being blind. Right, you then have the different chapters, let's call it chapters, of the campaign here. They're always nicely laid out. So you've got the art in it, you've got the different pages. By the way, if you just want to scroll through, click on that little button up here in the journal. That basically puts it into continuous page mode. And then you can just scroll through it like this. So you have the box set text that you can read out here. It's visible. It doesn't jump out at you because of the color scheme, but you can make it quite easily, quite clear. Little tip there that I use: right-click, narrate, and then what you get. This is the narrator tool. Is you get this posted to the chat, and you also get this screen call. I quite like that, but that's an extra module called narrator tools. So check that out if that's what you like. So you get the assignments in here. Basically, this is pretty much what you normally would expect in the book. Color scheme is lovely. The integration here of the different art pieces is really, really nice. This is Darudon. And you can always just click on it and show players. Yeah, so that works really nicely. It's nothing wow about this, but at least it's there. We have the actors always included, so if you've got some opponents that you need to quickly drag onto the canvas, you can do that from here. So that's nice that we have that straight there. So, as I said, I don't want to spoil it too much, but basically the whole campaign chapter by chapter is presented here. And you can see it's quite a bit you have to do. This is just the first chapter. Yeah. So that goes right the way through the different chapters. This is all supported. As I said, I have to keep myself from clicking on stuff because I don't want this to be spoilery at all. So you get handouts, you get the expedition booklet again, but these are the handouts for the expedition booklet. So they're separate from the other journal entry with the expedition booklet. So again, yeah, that's slightly odd maybe, but at least you can find the handouts very easily. This is the shuttle that your players might be in. The Grasshopper shuttle. This is the rover, the Rhino, for when they're actually on planet surfaces. We have got 2 big ships, the Rigel as a great ship, and if you click on that you get this lovely technical schematic, which is also available as a walled and lit map, or walled at least. And we have the Slipstream cruiser, the Akanda. So they are probably handouts that you might use a lot. So I would actually probably create a scene from them. And you'll see that they are actually existing, those scenes. So let's have a look. And by the way, if you see extra stuff here, like my Black Ziggurat stuff, this is all either from the core rules or it's my own stuff. So, scenes. Let's have a look at scenes. So again, it's organized the same way. We've got the Flowers of Algorab folder, we've got the expedition booklet, and that has got the map scenes in it. Now, I've been playing a little bit with it. So if I go to the Akanda here, I had... let me just reset the lighting. Because what I found interesting is I just grabbed a character, dropped it somewhere to see how it would all work out. So straight in the middle. You can see the scale of the map. Yeah, so I have to zoom right in. And this is actually a problem that I came across a few systems now. When if you have such a huge ship map, getting this sharp enough when you zoom all the way in is actually really difficult. And you'll see that this is all lit. With quite a long visibility. Now, this is a map that is not a dungeon. Yeah, if you think about this as being a technical drawing of a ship that they are on, they are not exploring it as a dungeon. I appreciate the work that they went through to actually make the maps and wall the maps and stuff, but you can see here with this fan effect, there's a gap in the wall somewhere. So I know it's fiddly to do this. But on this particular map, on these 2 maps for the ships, I think is actually completely and utterly unnecessary. Here you bump into a wall that you can't see. Yeah, because the wall placement, if we look at it, because it's so fiddly, you would have had to actually move it very slightly up so you can see the wall. And the effort to what you actually need to achieve here, I think it's just no balance. Yeah, so I probably wouldn't have done that. Yeah, there you can see again on the south here that we have this fan effect, and that's a tiny little gap somewhere in the wall that's going on. Yeah, this overlap is probably not connected properly with the door. And I've read that this has also been happening on the latest Alien a little bit. Yeah, you can see how fiddly that is. Let's just test whether that fixes it, because I don't think I'm aligned here. Don't think I'm aligned. But let's just fix that briefly. So, but that fixed it. So it's a tiny little adjustment. Oh no, it didn't fix it. There we go. There's still a little gap in there. Yeah, as I said, we've got the maps fully walled. But as I said, I don't think we have to have this map in that format, because this is not going to be dungeon crawl. Yeah, In other places, absolutely, but not on these ship maps. I don't think that's necessary. So the Rigel is even bigger. But one thing I wanted to show you actually on here is that we have stairs. So where's my man? There's the man. So if I go across here and up the stairs, you get, do you want to teleport? Yay, and I quite like that. So well done to the team there. Yeah, so you can actually use the stairwells. Don't think you can use the lifts, can you? No, you can't use the lifts. Can't get onto them. Right, so that's nicely done. Then if we have something like the other maps here, for example, the City of the Dead, they're relatively simple. They're not zoned battle maps or something, but they're just explaining what's where. What I personally love, if you have map pins for these. Yeah, I don't think there are any map pins on this one. No. But yeah, that's a minor thing. Here we do have some blight levels, for example. By the way, that arrow there is because of a user particular module called pop-up. No, it's not called that. What is it called? Pincushion. And if I do that, I basically can hover over it and I get the text that relates to it. So here we've got the, not supposed to show you that, but we've got the legend on the side. And this is one of the delves. Yeah. And here, for example, if I had the group, or just, where's my group? That's my group token. I probably would have taken a slightly different token size here, grid size here. Yeah, and I don't have visibility here. So even with the tokens on, there's something with the visibility you would have to tweak to actually really see this probably. The scene clearly has darkness on, but this token probably doesn't have any view, any visibility. So prototype token, go to vision range 0, yeah. Call it, on this map might only be 2 I need, or 1. So, yeah, now I've got a little bit of visibility. So that's something you would have to double check, that you have token visibility switched on. Right, so we have these overall, we've got them for all the different chapters. The maps are walled, the delve maps are quite nicely done. We have the map descriptions here on the side, which I quite like. And as I said, what I typically do is I spread them out a bit. So if it says here number 3, number 4, I would have the pop-ups running. Let me actually show you how that works, because I really like that functionality. And it's not core functionality. So it's this pincushion, and basically what you have to do is you have to tell it not to show the pop-up and then to show it again to set the flag. If I now hover over it, I get my description just here. I really like that. Yeah, so I can just hover over stuff and know exactly what's going on. So, what else have we got? We have the actors that we need for it. Now these here, you have all the actors that you need. And some of them have art and some of them don't have art. As you can see here. The placeholder art, okay. It's the Foundry standard with a rim around it. I always try to make them as appealing as possible. Background ones like Mining Combined Hunters, I probably would put another piece of art on there. But of course, the module people can't invent art. They have to use what's in the book. And if there's no art in the book for it, they can't use it. So fully appreciate that. They have a lot of subfolders here. So another way of navigating that, if you're, of course, if you're in the journal and it mentions the character, you always have a link to it. But you can also use something like quick insert or search anywhere. And if you say, oh, okay, I need a mining combine guy. This is quick insert I'm using, mining combine. And then you could actually use it from here and pull it onto the backdrop. So that's how I navigate that. Yeah, so I've got all the actors we need, and let's just grab somebody from early on. Yeah, so we've got the artwork here, and we've got the NPC character sheet where the main things. We've got the combat stats in here. We've got the bio at the bottom. So this is the compressed, smaller character sheet. What we also have, this is something from the core system actually. Let's use a blight crawler or something. Blight worm, okay. You have the behavior patterns and signature attacks pulled up to the top, which I really like. So you don't have to go down all the way to the list and roll it from here. As soon as you open it, you've got it there. Especially if you have to manage several opponents, this makes it a lot faster. So, items, I don't think there's extra items that are in here, so there's nothing that came with this module, I think. Journal we looked at, the tables, there might be some extra ones, I'm not quite sure. I haven't checked that one. And we don't have any music with it. No extra music anyway. Right, so, what do you think? It's very dark, it's very black, but that's the color scheme. I think that is really... I just noticed something here. The flowers of Algorab. There's a typo. Yeah, so this one here needs to be renamed. But it's very nicely implemented. Algorab. Anyway, let me know what you think. I think this is... removing all the excuses I previously had to say, oh, I don't want to run this because there's so much data entry. I've got it now, so we can actually run this now. Just have to get the players together and actually do this, make this happen. But I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, these handouts, for example, in the box, these initial handouts, these are first chapter handouts. They are all on, or not all, but a number of these are on the same piece of paper. So if you want to hand them out piecemeal, you can't actually do that. You would have to copy and then cut it to bits, and there's double-sided as well, so it's a bit tricky, but here you can actually have the luxury of Foundry and just hand out one handout at a time. Isn't that nice? Right, anyway, probably not the most organized click-through that you've ever seen, but this should give you a nice little impression. Let me know what else you want to do. I've got a few other things on the list that I could look at, including the Alien Evolved Edition starter set, which I might do. If that's of interest to you, leave me a comment, leave me a like, something like that. And I'll see you soon. Bye now. He says, I can't find the stop button. Bye bye.